Okay, in this update, I've spent a lot of time working on this planet map module. It's basically been a lot of work to do calculations to turn geodetic rectangular world space coordinates into topographical latitude and longitude coordinates, such that everything remains accurate, especially at this scale, which is massive. Precision is super important for everything in this simulation, and also realism of physics, and so it's just about doing it right, but we're getting there, so that's awesome. So first I want to point out that we are this white dot here on the ship. We are orbiting at 262 kilometers, and this yellow dot is just another orbiting object. If I go change that, there we go. So if I change it to Lunar Gateway, which is that guy out there, you'll see our orbits basically overlap each other, which they should. And then the other interesting thing is I have these little blue X's here, which are the land targets. So if I cycle through them, isn't that always just the way? This literally was just working. Hey, how fun is that? Well, good news is Danube base is the green one, and that was the one I wanted to use anyways. So we're going to try and intercept it, at least as close as we can. So first thing we want to do is, there we go. We want to change our orientation to be orbit anti-normal, it's called. And it basically means we're pointing straight south. If I toggle the ship hull, there's the Lunar Gateway. And if I turn on the engines and fire them, you'll see what happens. We're basically changing the inclination of the ship by Lunar Gateway. And we're, as you can see, the shape of the spline is changing. We want to more or less be as close as we can, which, hey, good for us. Look at that. Nicely done. And then if I go retrograde, which is basically pointing the ship backwards, so our forward direction is that way. If we fire our rockets backwards, it's effectively slowing the orbit, which will shrink the orbit to the point where we will intercept with the landmass. And we want to kind of do it so we can more or less hit that green target. We're going to try. And we overshot because of course we did. So, by the way, that red X is supposed to be our ground interception point. It's a little buggy right now, but we'll get there. Okay, but what's more important is, I know there's all these squiggly lines. That's a bug. Basically, the spline is trying to close the loop like a circle, and I'm still figuring that out. But we'll get there. I'm not concerned. But we are. If I turn on debug orbits, what you can see is you can see our orbit. And down there is the Lunar Gateway orbit. And as you can see, we are diverging away from that orbit. And I've also added these zoom functions on the map. So we can zoom and move over so we can kind of, eventually I'll get like a auto framing thing kind of going on, but there you go. So our spline is going to intercept with that. Now, what you need to understand is space travel can be slow. We have to wait for our orbit to just get there, and that's just the way it is. So there's time compression. I'm going to turn on time compression right now. And we're going at times 16 speed right now. And as you can see, there we go. One of the interesting things is if we go too fast, these numbers stop working. So I'm going to fix that eventually. If we slow down to ×8, you'll see the numbers do update again. And as you can see, our altitude is slowly slowing down, getting less. So we're going to go fast again because we got a ways to go. Going around 1/3 of the planet. Tick tock, here we go. And we'll slow down again. Let's see. There we go at ×8 speed, so now we are there. And we're going to there. And our altitude is still slowly lowering. So that's pretty great. If I turn the ship prograde, turn off autopilot, and then roll, we can kind of like, you know, kind of get into a landing position. If this actually was a lunar lander with feet, this is what we do. Again, if I toggle the hull, not much to see. By the way, all these watermark logos, that's me experimenting with an AI texture upscaling system. I'm not convinced on it, and I'm all for artist-supported work. But right now, it's just a means to an end for a prototype to create a better experience. So we'll see. I can get rid of the watermarks if I give the AI company some money, but I'm not convinced I will. Anyways, moving on. You're getting closer. I'm just going to speed up time again. And let's see, what else did I do of note? Not much. You can see all the other panels are kind of working. But yeah, it's been a big focus working on this, that's for sure. Okay, so yes, so the red circle X is supposed to be our landing point. It's mostly accurate, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna slow us down to 1. As we can see, there's our landing pad right down there. How interesting. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get us closer by turning on the main reverse thrusters again. And there we do, but we are too short now. Come on. And too far. That's getting closer. Really what I need to do is I need to get a power slider here, so it's not just 100% thrust all the time. If we want to slow it down, we can. Yeah. But you know what? The good news is that we are actually pretty close on target, and more importantly, we are accurate. If I zoom in even more,
later on, at 6 or 7 minutes, I again turned around and looked back, and was really surprised. I didn't expect to see much.
I zoom in even more, even more. There you go. So what you can see is that it's now updated our landing position. I'm going to find a better system for this, but you get the idea. So the green X is that landing pad down there, and our red X is our actual landing point. And yeah, I will work on refining this, but eventually, in not too long, we'll be able to actually land on where we're supposed to land. And if you're looking down here, one of the things that's interesting is as we get lower, what I start to do is I start to reveal a more detailed texture, which is all the potted craters you see down there, just to make it feel more grandiose, I guess, in like a planet scale. It's an interesting problem to solve, and I actually have a plan to use Vox to sort of create 3D geometry as you get closer. It kind of procedurally creates it. And that is still the plan, because what's great is then you can land around hilly areas or whatever. There just happens to be a bug going on right now where it just will not render on Oculus Mobile. And I haven't quite wrapped my head around that yet. All I can say is stay tuned. Yeah, please do. But as you can see, we are getting pretty close. I'm gonna just time compress just a little more. So we're gonna overshoot our target a tiny bit, but you know what? Like I said, the point is it is accurate, and that makes me happy. The other cool thing is as we get even lower, because right now we are at 10 kilometers above the surface, we put on the reverse thrusters, and let's just see what happens. So there's actually some fine. Oh, we're gonna hit really hard. Watch this. Kind of delayed response, but basically, if you come down too fast, you can crash the ship, and that's more or less what's happened. That's going to be a lot nicer too. Basically, it means an end of the simulation. You die. And we'll see where we go from there. Anyways, thanks for paying attention.